welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to help get you prepped for an interview for Aeronautical Information Specialist.
Yeah, it's a role that blends your passion for aviation with some seriously cool tech.
Definitely. And we've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher to make sure you totally ace it.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, they have a career guide that gives you the big picture.
Okay.
And an interview guide that's full of real questions they might throw at you.
It's like having a personalized flight plan just for your interview.
Exactly. So let's jump right in. The interview guide starts with this question. Describe your experience with aeronautical data management systems. So what's the hiring manager really looking for here?
Well, they want to know how comfortable you are with the tech side of things.
Right.
Do you know the systems they use out in the field, like specific software, hardware, databases, all that?
Okay.
But it's not just about knowing the names. It's showing that you understand how those systems actually work.
I see.
How you've used them to make sure the data is accurate.
Right.
And how you've tackled any challenges with massive amounts of information.
So it's about showing them you can handle the responsibility of keeping that data flowing smoothly and accurately.
Exactly.
What kind of follow-up questions might they ask to dig a little deeper?
They might ask about a specific time you faced a data issue and how you solved it.
Makes sense.
That really tests your analytical skills,
Right.
your attention to detail, and how you handle pressure.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Like, did you ever catch a discrepancy that could have impacted flight safety? Or did you streamline a process to make info more accessible?
I see.
Those are the stories that are going to stick with them.
That's where those problem-solving skills highlighted in RoleCatcher's career guide come in handy.
Absolutely.
It really emphasizes the need for critical thinking in this role.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking of the career guide, it also mentions staying updated on advancements in the field. Could that lead to follow-up questions too?
Oh, absolutely. They might ask about specific certifications you have or workshops you've attended. They want to see that you're proactive and dedicated to staying ahead of the curve.
Especially in a tech-driven field like aviation.
Exactly.
Okay, next question from the guide. How do you stay up to date with changes to aeronautical regulations or procedures?
Okay.
Why is this so important in aviation?
Well, aviation is constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
New rules and procedures pop up all the time.
Right.
This question is about showing your commitment to staying current and compliant.
Okay.
They want to see that you're not just waiting for info to come to you.
Yeah.
You're actively seeking updates and taking charge of your professional development.
So it's about showing them you're proactive and committed to safety.
Yeah.
How can you best demonstrate that?
Be specific. Mention industry publications, online forums, conferences, webinars, professional organizations.
Okay.
Anything that shows you're plugged into the wider aviation community. And you know how it's evolving. And this actually ties back to the career guide's emphasis on networking.
Right.
Which can also expose you to these updates and trends.
Makes sense. What kind of follow-up questions could come from that?
They could ask you to describe a recent regulatory change you had to adapt to and how you implemented it in your work.
Okay.
This forces you to show, not just tell, how you apply your knowledge in real-world situations.
Right.
Did you have to update procedures, train colleagues, highlight the positive impact your actions had?
All right, on to the next question.
Okay.
And this one might be a bit of a mystery for those of us who aren't pilots. Describe your experience working with NOTAMs.
Right?
Before we dive into answering it, can you quickly explain what a NOTAM is?
Think of it as a critical alert system for everyone involved in flying.
Okay.
A NOTAM, or Notice to Airmen, is a real-time update about airspace or airport conditions.
I see.
Things like runway closures, changes in air traffic procedures, even potential hazards like flocks of birds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's crucial information that helps pilots and everyone else make safe decisions in the air. Knowing that, what's the interviewer really getting at with this question?
They want to know how well you handle critical information.
Right.
Have you worked with NOTAMs before?
Right.
Do you understand how important they are?
Right.
Can you interpret them accurately and get that info to the right people quickly?
I see.
Attention to detail is super important here.
Any mistakes with NOTAMs could have serious consequences.
Oh, yeah.
So they want to see that you're meticulous and organized.
For sure.
How should someone approach this question in the interview?
Focus on your experience receiving, interpreting, and distributing NOTAMs.
Okay.
Describe the systems you use, the procedures you followed to ensure accuracy.
Right.
And any challenges you overcame.
Gotcha.
Did you ever handle a particularly urgent or complex NOTAM?
I see.
Share that experience and how you managed it successfully. This is where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful.
Oh, really?
You can practice answering this question and get tailored feedback based on industry best practices,
Okay.
which makes sure your response is on point.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like having a virtual mentor guiding you through the prep.
Exactly. And it's not just about like the content of your answer.
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI can also analyze your delivery,
Oh, wow.
helping you project confidence and clarity,
Okay.
which are crucial for making a strong impression.
Okay, so we've talked about NOTAMs. Now let's move on to another question that emphasizes accuracy.
Mm.
How do you ensure that aeronautical information is accurate and up to date? It sounds like a fundamental part of the job, right?
Oh, absolutely. Aeronautical information changes constantly.
Right.
So having really solid quality control processes is vital.
Makes sense.
They want to know you're not just accepting info as it comes,
Right.
but actively verifying and validating it.
Okay.
Think about it. This data affects the safety of flights.
Right.
There's no room for errors.
So they're looking for a structured approach to data management that minimizes risks.
Exactly.
How can someone showcase their commitment to quality control in their answer?
Well, describe the specific procedures you've implemented or followed in previous roles.
Okay.
Do you double-check data? Cross-reference with multiple sources? Conduct regular audits?
I see.
The more specific you are, the better. And don't be afraid to talk about challenges you've faced.
Okay.
Like, have you ever had to correct an error in aeronautical information?
Interesting.
Sharing that experience shows you're not just knowledgeable, but also accountable and proactive.
And speaking of being proactive, let's say the interviewer wants to see how you handle a specific quality control situation. What kind of follow-up question might they ask?
They might ask, tell me about a time you discovered an error in aeronautical information. What steps did you take to correct it? And what did you learn from the experience?
Okay.
This lets them see your problem-solving skills in action and how you learn from mistakes, which is crucial for growth.
That's a great point. It's not just about avoiding errors, but also learning from them to continuously improve. Okay, one more question before we wrap up this part of the deep dive.
Right.
How do you handle competing priorities and deadlines? Now, this seems relevant to pretty much any job, but why is it especially important for an aeronautical information specialist?
In this role, you're often dealing with time-sensitive information that directly impacts flight operations.
Okay.
So being able to prioritize effectively and manage your time is essential.
Makes sense.
Imagine you have like multiple urgent requests coming in. Maybe a NOTAM needs immediate distribution.
Right.
A pilot is requesting specific charts, and you're also working on a data update.
Oh, that sounds stressful.
You need to stay calm under pressure and make sure the most crucial tasks get done on time.
It's like being an air traffic controller for information, ensuring everything flows smoothly and efficiently. So how can someone demonstrate their time management prowess in their answer?
Describe your approach. Do you use specific tools or techniques? How do you determine which tasks are most urgent?
Okay.
How do you communicate with stakeholders if deadlines are at risk? The career guide highlights the importance of clear and concise communication,
Right.
especially when working with diverse teams. And this is where those skills really shine. Remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you craft your answers
Okay.
and make sure they hit all the key points.
That's a great reminder. Using those AI tools can really boost your confidence and help you deliver a winning response.
Absolutely. You can even practice answering this question out loud
Oh, wow.
and get feedback on your pace, tone, and clarity, ensuring you come across as organized and in control, even when talking about stressful situations.
Fantastic. We've covered a lot of ground already, but we're just getting started. When we come back, we'll tackle more insightful interview questions from the RoleCatcher Interview Guide and explore how their AI-powered features can help you prepare for those curveballs and land your dream job in aviation. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We've got more great questions from that RoleCatcher Interview Guide to help you nail that Aeronautical Information Specialist interview.
Okay, so, we've been talking about managing data and procedures, but visualizing that information is important too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that leads us to this question. Describe your experience working with aeronautical charts and maps.
Okay,
It might seem straightforward, but I bet there's more to it than meets the eye.
you got it. This question really gets at how well you understand the visual side of aviation.
Okay.
Aeronautical charts and maps, they're like the blueprints for safe and efficient flights.
Okay, I see.
They give a visual guide for pilots, air traffic controllers, everyone planning and executing those flights.
So it's not just about knowing north from south.
Right.
It's about understanding all those little details and symbols that show critical information.
Yeah, like what?
Well, things like airspace boundaries,
Sure.
navigation aids, even terrain and weather patterns.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to know that you're comfortable working with these visual representations
Right.
and that you can accurately interpret them.
Okay.
Have you used specific software for creating or updating charts? Have you analyzed them to identify potential conflicts or hazards? This is where those analytical skills from the career guide become super important.
It's like connecting the dots, literally.
Right.
Seeing those patterns and understanding what they mean for flight safety.
Exactly.
So how can someone show off those analytical skills when answering this question?
Share specific examples of projects where you worked with these charts and maps.
Okay.
Maybe you were involved in updating a chart after airspace changed or had to analyze a map to find a safe route.
Gotcha.
Talk about the challenges you faced and how you overcame them.
Okay.
Did you spot a discrepancy on a chart? Did you have to work with limited information? Those are the details that show your expertise.
And those details are what make your answer stand out.
Right.
Speaking of details, the career guide mentions all these different types of charts used in aviation. Could they ask about specific ones like instrument approach charts or sectional charts?
Oh, definitely. Be prepared to discuss your familiarity with different types of charts and what they're used for.
Makes sense.
You could even use RoleCatcher's AI to quiz yourself on those different chart types
Oh, that's smart.
and practice explaining them clearly.
That's a great strategy. Using those AI tools can help you feel more confident and ready for whatever they ask.
Absolutely. And it's not just about memorizing facts. RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you connect those facts to your own experience.
Okay.
So you're creating a more compelling and personalized answer.
Okay, let's switch gears to a question that's all about keeping things running smoothly and safely. How do you ensure compliance with aeronautical regulations and procedures?
Okay.
Why is this question so important for an aeronautical information specialist?
Well, this goes way beyond just knowing the rules.
Right.
It's about understanding the WHY behind those rules.
Right.
And making sure they're implemented correctly
Right.
to keep everyone safe and the flights efficient.
Makes sense.
Aeronautical regulations and procedures are constantly evolving, and the interviewer wants to see that you are dedicated to staying current and compliant.
So it's not just about following instructions, it's about being proactive about safety.
Absolutely.
How can someone showcase that commitment in their answer?
Talk about specific instances where you ensured compliance in previous roles.
Okay.
Did you develop or implement any quality control processes? Conduct audits or inspections?
I see.
Ever have to identify and correct something that wasn't compliant?
Right.
Sharing those experiences really shows you that you take the responsibility seriously and are proactive about maintaining those safety standards.
It's about showing you're not just following the rules, but you're living and breathing them.
Right.
Now, let's say the interviewer digs a little deeper into those experiences. What follow-up question might they ask?
They might ask you to describe a situation where regulations or procedures were unclear or conflicting.
Okay. Or maybe they'll ask about a time you had to work with others who weren't too happy about changes.
I see.
Those kinds of questions show your problem-solving skills and your ability to handle tough situations while staying compliant.
That makes sense. They want to see if you can deal with those gray areas that pop up in any job.
Right.
And speaking of navigating complexity, the next question from the guide is all about making sure information is clear and accessible to everyone. How do you ensure that aeronautical information is accessible to all stakeholders?
This sounds like it's about communication and collaboration, right?
Oh, it totally is. Aeronautical information is only useful if the people who need it can understand it.
Makes sense.
This question is about tailoring your communication to different audiences.
Okay.
Whether it's a pilot requesting charts or a maintenance crew needing updates on procedures.
It's like being a translator.
Yeah,
Making sure everyone's speaking the same language.
exactly.
Even if their jobs are totally different. So how can someone demonstrate that ability in their answer?
Think about the different ways you've shared information. Have you created presentations, written reports, or developed online resources? Presented at meetings or conferences?
Right.
Worked with web developers or graphic designers to make user-friendly interfaces? Highlighting those experiences shows your versatility and dedication to making information accessible.
It's about finding the right tools and strategies for each situation in each audience.
Exactly.
Now, let's say the interviewer wants to see if you can think outside the box when it comes to making information accessible. What kind of follow-up question might they ask?
They might ask, if you had to make a specific piece of information accessible to a wider audience, how would you approach it?
Okay.
This makes you think strategically and creatively.
Right.
Would you develop a new training program? Create an interactive online tool?
I see.
Partner with another department? This is your chance to show initiative and passion for making a difference.
It's about seeing the bigger picture and using your skills to make a real impact. And this ties back to what the career guide says about professional development, always seeking new ways to improve things and contribute to the field.
Exactly. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI tools can be really helpful throughout this whole process. You can practice answering these questions.
Right.
And get feedback tailored to the Aeronautical Information Specialist role.
That's fantastic. It's like having a personal coach guiding you through every step.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring this world of Aeronautical Information Specialists.
Yeah, from those maps and charts to NOTAMs and getting you prepped for that interview.
Right. We've talked about how to get the job, but what about what it takes to really thrive in it?
Well, Aeronautical Information Specialists, they're more than just data managers.
Right.
They're like guardians of safety up there in the sky.
That's a good way to put it.
They play a huge role in preventing those accidents and making sure air travel is as safe as can be.
And as tech keeps getting better, that role becomes even more vital. So let's imagine you've aced the interview. You're surrounded by awesome tech, working with really smart people, and helping to keep so many passengers safe.
Okay.
What unique perspective do you bring to the table?
That's where your own strengths and what you're passionate about come in.
Okay.
Maybe you have a background in data analysis and you're itching to create new algorithms to make data even more accurate.
All right.
Or maybe you're a user experience guru, passionate about those interfaces that make info easy for everyone to get.
I see.
It's about going beyond the daily grind and seeing how your skills can make a real impact.
It's about being proactive, finding solutions, and always looking for ways to make things better. So speaking of making things better, the career guide talks about career paths for these specialists.
Right.
They can move into leadership roles, specialize in things like charting or data analysis, even switch to fields like air traffic control.
The possibilities are huge. You can tailor it to what you're interested in.
And that takes us to the question from the interview guide. What are your career goals? It's your chance to show them you're not just looking for a job, but a whole career.
Yeah, you want something fulfilling where you can learn and grow.
So how do you answer that without sounding vague or unrealistic?
Be specific. Connect your goals to what the role involves.
Okay.
For example, you could say, my short-term goal is to be really good at data management and quality control.
Right.
But in the long run, I'm interested in airspace analysis and helping create new safety protocols.
Okay.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help you polish your answer.
Right.
Make sure it fits with what the role and company are all about.
It's like having a career counselor just for you, helping you put your dreams into words.
Exactly.
Speaking of dreams, the next question is, tell me about a time you went above and beyond in your work. They don't just want someone who does the bare minimum.
No, they want someone who's passionate.
Right.
Driven.
So this is your time to shine.
Yeah.
Show off how you take initiative, solve problems, and that you're dedicated to doing things well. Pick an example that shows those qualities.
Yeah, like where you made a real difference.
Right.
Maybe you spotted a safety risk and did something about it.
Yep.
Or streamlined a process, saving time and resources. Whatever it is, make sure it relates to the job and shows off the skills they're looking for.
It's about showing them you're not just filling a position, you're bringing something special. And that brings us to a tricky question. What are your salary expectations? It can be awkward, but with a little prep, you'll be fine.
Research is key here. Look into typical salaries for this role in your area.
Right.
Consider your experience and what the job needs.
Okay.
Online databases and professional groups can give you good info. Don't be afraid to aim high, but be realistic.
Right.
Be ready to explain why you deserve what you're asking for. Highlight those skills, your experience, and the value you'll bring.
It's about knowing your worth, speaking up for yourself, and understanding industry standards. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you research salaries for similar jobs and companies.
Yeah, so you have solid data to back you up.
Exactly. Those AI tools can give you that extra confidence to talk about this tricky topic. So last question from the interview guide. Why are you interested in this role? Seems simple, but it's your chance to make a final impression.
Yeah, show them your passion for this field.
It's about showing them you're not just looking for any job, you're drawn to this one. So how do you answer authentically and make it interesting?
Connect what you're interested in and your values to what speaks to you about this role.
Okay.
Maybe you love the complexity of airspace management, or you're passionate about using tech to make aviation safer. Share a story that shows your connection to this world. Maybe you saw the impact of a NOTAM firsthand, or you've always been fascinated by those aeronautical charts. Let your passion show and leave them knowing why you're the perfect fit.
It's about showing them you're not just checking boxes on a resume, you're a real person who's excited to be part of this. And that wraps up our deep dive into the world of Aeronautical Information Specialists.
We've talked about the technical stuff, the interview strategies, the future of this whole field. Hope you found it helpful.
And if you're ready to take off in this exciting career, RoleCatcher can help. Their career guides give you that deep dive. Their AI-powered interview tools can help you ace those answers.
And their Get Discovered feature helps connect you with those employers looking for talent just like you.
So sign up, it's free, check out their resources, and get ready to reach new heights.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Until next time, keep those wings spread and those minds soaring.